A while back, I decided to meet life with as much openness as possible. Not in an airy-fairy kind of way, but the journey that I and many other people are on right now was something that I could never have imagined even in my wildest fantasies. And I've experienced things that I thought I would only read about in books. But I am also coming up against the limits of my knowledge over and over again. And I believe that it is a good thing to reflect consciously about what I can truly say for sure about what is happening. Hello from Sweden, and welcome to Everyday Mystic, a gentle guide to your liberation. My name is David, and I hope that you're feeling well and that you're having a good day. Now this video is going to be another one of those videos where I talk about how our minds and our egos can trick us. This is a truly amazing journey that we are on. But it is also a journey where we can no longer rely on the things that have guided us so far in the world. This journey has very much to do with going beyond the five sense reality. So therefore our five senses cannot help us understand what is going on or predict what is going to happen in the future. And I've noticed in myself that it is so easy to draw unwarranted conclusions about what is going on, to attach meaning and significance to experience that we have that is not called for. Often we have a pre-existing belief system in place that we use to interpret what is going on. But I've found it very, very helpful to coming to terms with my ignorance. The more I am going through this journey, the more is waking up on the inside, and the more things I find that are hidden in plain sight. But there are also a lot of things when I put them under scrutiny that I cannot know for sure. It can be, for instance, that I read something in a book and it seems to make sense because some other thing confirms my own experiences, but at some point my own personal knowledge ends and instead a belief is formed. Now, there is nothing wrong with having beliefs. We need, in a sense, beliefs to guide us through reality. But I also think that it is unwise to make something more of the beliefs than to actually have them as a useful guide. Sometimes we might need something to aim for, but the aim cannot consume us in a way where we actually allow the beliefs to take up our whole lives, to shape our whole lives, even if we might feel a call to go in a different direction. And now I want to talk a little bit about things that I believe I can say for sure. And I believe that many people can confirm this with their own experiences. Because that is the crux of the matter. One thing I can say for sure is that this is more, for the most part, a journey that we take on the inside. We are waking up to a lot of things that are going on the inside. For example, that our minds in their normal states create some type of prison for us. We have all of these beliefs and opinions. We have blocked energies inside of our bodies. And we have all of these habitual thought patterns. And what is going on is that, and you can observe this with yourself if you are a little bit present, something happens in the external reality. It triggers an emotion within you. The emotion sets certain thought patterns that are related to similar experiences in motion, and in turn these thoughts feed into the emotion, and if it reaches a breaking point, it also causes you to behave in a very predictable manner. And these are things that we are becoming aware of. We are also becoming aware of that we are not our physical bodies and brains. That on the inside there are so many things that are waking up. And we are also waking up to that we have a connection to other layers of reality that we were priorly not aware of, that were invisible to us. All of these things are things that I can tell you from my own personal experience, and I know that you, if you are going through a spiritual awakening, will find this out for yourself as well. So I'm trying to give you a little guidance here. But this is also the crux of the matter. We are not dealing with the five sense reality anymore. So I cannot use empirical data, logic, reason and so on to prove things for you. To prove that what I am saying is true. You have to see if this resonates with you, and you have to go inside for yourself to confirm if this is true or not. Another thing that I am noticing that I know a lot of people say are wrong, but I am going to go with my experience when it comes to this, because my experience has left no doubt when it comes to this. There is a God, and at the absolute fundamental core, we are one with God. We have all of this ego nonsense that make us not see this divinity, but at the absolute fundamental core, this is how it is. But there also seems to be a personal aspect of this God. I, and often together with my wife, have received different types of communications that seem to imply an intelligence and a will for our lives. It is often through some sort of synchronicity. For me it has been a lot. I think about something, come to some sort of realization, and just a little moment later I read about it. Or I have some type of experience together with my wife, and I look at her and I say that, well, that was meant for us, wasn't it? And she nods and confirms that yes, most definitely this was meant for us. Could this be something other than I make it into? Sure, but this is unquestionably my experience, and there is something to it, but I might be drawing the wrong conclusions from it. But this is the best interpretation that I got. Another thing is that there is truly a spiritual awakening going on. I am experiencing it, many other people are experiencing it. And in this there is this shift from 3D to 5D. This change in perception. I cannot really explain it because I think it defies words. But somehow the world seems more vivid and alive than before, but at the same time things also paradoxically seem more illusory. This is my experience and I'm trying to put it into words, but as I said, words cannot begin to describe what is happening. And for me, as I said, I've had a lot of truly magnificent experiences, things that I only thought I would read about in books, but I also don't have access to the bigger picture. There are many things that I don't know when I look at what other people are saying, what is going on. That I cannot know where their experience ends and where their book knowledge begins. And I think this is something that we actually should think about consciously. Because maybe what some people that do go through spiritual awakenings and that do have all of these amazing experiences that you can confirm for yourself. Maybe some of the things they have themselves read in a book. Maybe they haven't experienced everything. And for me at least, and I think that a lot of people feel the same way, I cannot know for sure what people really know and what they just think that they know. But I try to aim for something where my beliefs don't interfere with what I truly feel called to do. And if they start to doing that, I need to question my beliefs about this. But on the one hand, when it comes to knowledge that is truly just book knowledge, and when it comes to actual experiences, I've also many times lately have had the experience that texts that didn't really mean that much to me before start to truly come alive for me. I suddenly know from my own experience that, oh, this person, at least when it comes to this, he or she knows what they are talking about. And it also seems that the conclusions that can be drawn from this, that they have drawn from this, are not just taken out of the blue. So I can get a little push on my journey from these texts as well. And also, now we come to this little troublesome part. Our minds are in some way keeping us prisoners. I already talked about it. How we have this stimulus response mindset. And this is also an important truth that I want to talk about. This is the condition that we find ourselves in. I don't want to make too much about it. I think that fundamentally everything is okay, but you need to be aware of this. In your habitual mind state, you are not really making free choices. You are just reacting habitually to external stimuli. And there is also this higher state to aim for. I've been in more and more contact with this lately, where you are neither trying to force things to happen nor holding on to things in the past. You are not moving forcefully into the future, but you are not clinging on to anything either. This is, I believe, what Eckhart Tolle is talking about with the power of now. From this state, and it has to be experienced for yourself before you can really understand what is happening, but this is a very real, tangible state that you have access to on the inside, where you can simply just allow things to flow freely. You can allow your thoughts, words, and actions to flow freely, and you can allow things to unfold in the world around you. I am most definitely not in this state all of the time, and I usually fluctuate much between being in this force state, being in this resistance state, and just being in this present calm flow. But the more you tap into it, the more you will be able to access it, and the easier and more natural it will feel. Because this is truly your natural state to be in. You've just been programmed to operate from this lower state. And this is also something that I know from experience. If it resonates with you, search for it, but don't try to force things. Allow things to flow. So this is what we are aiming for. This de-identification with the form, with the physical body, with the brain, with all of these wants, wishes and desires, opinions, needs to be right, etc. Break free from all of this and try to see yourself and life as clearly as possible. Trust these higher experiences when they come to you. But be very wary against your mind's tendency to try to tell a bunch of stories about them. And just allow them to unfold instead. Observe yourself. Observe when you feel the need to be right and ask yourself why. Ask yourself what you truly want to accomplish with what you dedicate your time and energy to. If you argue with someone, are you really sure that you are right? And what do you want to accomplish with this argument, for example? Question all of your behavior. Become aware of these patterns that I've been speaking about. Be as questioning as possible towards your beliefs, your thoughts, your attitudes, etc. Try to take a step back from this and realize that you are none of this, that you are going through the most amazing time in the history of the planet, that you cannot really use your mind and the five senses to understand what is going on, when you are dealing with a reality that is opening up on the inside, a reality that cannot be perceived with the five senses. But trust also that this is real, that the more you go through this experience, the more you go through this journey, the more things will start to make sense and the more things will start to wake up. So, when it comes to my own journey, I have my own particular callings. As many of you know, I feel this strong calling to Jesus. I don't know exactly what this means. I am very confident that it is not a calling towards more conservative fundamentalist Christianity. It's rather that it's a calling very much away from this, but also a calling towards taking the Bible seriously, but not as a belief system to believe in, but rather to find out the more esoteric and psychological truths that are to be found there. But also there are these matters of prophecies about my personal experiences of this calling that I cannot ignore. But I will be very wary against making more conclusions of this than is called for. And I'm also very wary about ideas that try to force me into believe things that I cannot know for sure. I would rather struggle every second of my life, knowing where the aim is at, than forcing myself to believe things that I cannot know for sure. But that does not mean that I don't take these things seriously. I also, of course, try to not take things more seriously than I have to, because on the other hand, we also need to have this joyful, playful experience when it comes to everything. And I actually want to talk a little bit about this, because I think there is some truth in this as well. We need to integrate these sides in ourselves, not just be in this whole taking everything bloody seriously because I am so spiritual and therefore I should be more enlightened than having fun with my life. Not in that kind of attitude. But there are things such as our relationship with God and with other people, and to try and find out a little bit about what is going on and aligning ourselves with its process, that I think we will do good in taking seriously. But we also have to leave some room for fun and joy in our lives. And not just fun and joy that other people or society or religion tells us that we can enjoy. No, we need to ask ourselves seriously with what we really want from life. Because whoever said that you have to completely reject the joys in life? You can enjoy them without attachment. It is when you form attachment to things that things become problematic when it comes to enjoyments. But there are also enjoyments, of course, that are hurtful. There are some things that are good for some people but not for others, and so on. And this is also some truths that I am figuring out as I go along on my journey. And I am very wary against things that try to make me abstain from things that I truly want to do. When I truly ask myself what is beneficial to me, what seems important to me, what brings true joy to my life. If some belief try to make me abstain from these things, I need to be very questioning of this belief no matter where it comes from. But it is also important when I go along on this journey, when I try to figure out what I truly want, to ask, does this come from my higher self or does it come from the ego? Because my higher self's will is always in line with the divinity that is inside me. So if it is not, it must come from the ego. And that's it for today. If you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment and share the video on social media and other places. All of it helps the channel to grow. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so YouTube always notifies you new videos. And check out the description and the comment section for other things that me and my wife are doing. Especially check out my store Trickster Saint, where you will find my own creative works. And other than that, just sincerely thank you for your time.